If you thought the YNW case couldn't get any darker, buckle up, because this latest leak just shattered whatever was left of YNW Bortlen's defense. Forget innocent until proven guilty. This new footage just flipped the courtroom upside down, ripped the rug out from under the defense, and set it on fire. This isn't just a case anymore. It's a full-blown documentary that the internet's binge-watching in real time. New leaked video, fresh forensic details, and wild audio clips have everyone saying the same thing. Bortlen's done. This might be his final L. The footage reportedly proves what prosecutors have been hinting at for years, and it's uglier than a reality TV reunion on Zeus Network. It's got fans screaming, lawyers panicking, and even other rappers quietly deleting old photos. The courtroom went from calm to chaotic in seconds. Judges are snapping, attorneys are threatening to walk out. The jury, looking like they just saw the ghost of the YNW brand itself. And the wildest part? This leak doesn't just expose Bortlen, it exposes everyone. Let's get into the madness that turned a murder case into hip-hop's biggest downfall since Tekashi took the stand. Because this ain't just a leak, it's a career funeral, broadcast in HD. The YNW saga was already a tangled mess of betrayal, blood, and bad decisions. But this latest leak just blew the entire story wide open. If the courtroom was a volcano, this footage was the eruption. And the crazy part? It didn't even come from the state. It came from the internet. Yeah, somebody out there decided to play judge, jury, and Wi-Fi executioner by dropping footage that prosecutors were allegedly saving for trial. And when it hit the web, it didn't just trend, it detonated. Let's rewind before the explosion. YNW Bortlen, born Cortland Henry, has spent years in the shadow of one of the most infamous cases in modern rap history. The double murder involving YNW Melly and their fallen brothers, Juvie and Sakcheza. Since 2018, this case has been the ultimate cautionary tale for fame, loyalty, and how fast brotherhood can turn to betrayal when the money hits. When the police first announced that Melly and Bortlen were being investigated, the world thought it was a joke. Two young stars, fresh off viral hits, suddenly facing accusations straight out of a horror film. Nah, nobody believed it. But the more evidence dropped, the less funny it became. Melly's trial, or should we say trials because Florida law apparently loves sequels, became a national spectacle. The rap game was divided. One side screamed, "Free Melly." The other said, "Play stupid games, win prison chains." And while Melly's court chaos stole all the headlines, Bortlen stayed quiet, cool, calm, calculated. The man moved like someone who thought he was untouchable. He smiled on Instagram, dropped hints about music and told fans, "God got me." It was like he believed silence could erase suspicion. But now, silence just made the impact louder. Because this week, that leaked footage changed everything. According to reports, the clip, allegedly from a nearby surveillance camera and enhanced by forensic experts, shows details that prosecutors have been hinting at but never revealed. We're talking about timing inconsistencies, vehicle movement patterns, and what insiders are calling undeniable proof that the original drive-by story was nothing but smoke and mirrors. The video allegedly shows the YNW Jeep pulling over in a remote area, not under fire, but calmly. Then, after a few moments, flashes go off from inside the car. Moments later, the vehicle drives away at high speed. You could hear a collective gasp ripple across the internet when that description dropped. One fan commented, "That's not a drive-by, that's a setup." Another said, "If this is real, there's no saving Bortlen." The shockwave hit instantly. Within hours, No Jumper, The Shade Room, and even mainstream outlets like Rolling Stone were posting about it. Headlines read, "New YNW footage surfaces, case implodes." The prosecution reportedly confirmed that the footage aligned with the original forensic analysis. It didn't just strengthen their theory, it made their timeline bulletproof. Meanwhile, Bortlen's legal team scrambled. They immediately called for a review, claiming unauthorized leaks were tainting the trial. But let's be real, once the footage hit social media, it was over. You can't put toothpaste back in the tube, and you can't unsee evidence that looks like it came straight from a movie script. And speaking of movies, fans online are already comparing this case to Training Day. Power, even Breaking Bad. Except this ain't fiction, one commenter wrote. This is Florida. The courtroom atmosphere since the leak, straight chaos. Reporters say when the footage was mentioned in court, prosecutors smiled for the first time in weeks. One attorney said, "The state will show that the evidence speaks for itself." Meanwhile, the defense looked like they'd just seen a ghost, and if that wasn't bad enough, the internet detectives were back in full force, frame by frame analyzing every pixel of the footage. Some fans claimed they saw someone's reflection in the window. Others said the timestamps didn't match official reports. "That means somebody lied on the stand," one TikTok sleuth announced dramatically, like she'd just cracked CSI Broward County. Even the memes turned brutal. One viral image showed Bortlen's face over the Grand Theft Auto "Mission Failed" screen. Another had the caption, "When you said it was a drive-by, but the footage says DIY. Yeah." The internet is undefeated. But beneath the laughter, there's tension. Because this leak didn't just expose potential guilt, it exposed the system. Legal analysts are questioning how such sensitive footage ended up online in the first place. Was it leaked intentionally? Was someone inside the court feeding the media? Or was it revenge? A way to bury Bortlen before the jury even sits down? Insiders whisper that prosecutors were furious. Not because of what the footage showed, but because the leak could jeopardize the admissibility of evidence. If the court deems it tainted, it might never be shown officially. And that's the type of twist that drives legal thrillers and gives defense teams something to fight with. But the damage is already done. The footage spread so far, so fast that it shaped public opinion overnight. Even celebrities couldn't resist weighing in. Boosie jumped on Instagram with his usual brand of chaos saying, "If that video real, boy, it's over." 50 Cent reposted a headline and added, "Florida don't play." They got cameras everywhere. You know it's serious when 50 stops trolling Diddy long enough to talk about you. Fans of the YNW camp are heartbroken. "We wanted to believe it was fake," one said on Twitter. "But this feels different." Others doubled down in denial, insisting the clip was edited, fake, or AI generated. One fan wrote, "Until the judge says guilty, I'm not believing nothing." But that line's getting harder to hold, because according to multiple sources, this wasn't the only footage. There are reportedly more clips, dashcam angles, phone pings, and ballistics simulations that could turn the case into an open and shut verdict. Prosecutors are calling it the digital nail in the coffin, and it gets darker. The leaked footage is rumored to include audio, muffled but chilling. A few seconds of what sounds like shouting, followed by silence. Whether it's authentic or not, the internet already turned it into the final nail in Bortlen's defense. The comment section's now divided between conspiracy theorists and armchair lawyers. "He's done," one wrote. "No coming back from that." Another replied, "It's edited. They setting him up." But one thing's certain. This leak isn't just another update. It's the spark that could burn down what little hope YNW Bortlen had left. The man who thought he could wait it out, who smiled through the chaos and flexed through the rumors, might be facing the one thing he can't outrun: evidence that doesn't lie. Because in this story, the footage doesn't just tell the truth, it screams it. And the world's about to see who's still standing when the smoke clears. Once that footage hit the internet, it wasn't just a leak, it was a shockwave. The YNW Bortlen case went from local courtroom drama to global trending chaos overnight. It's like the world collectively decided to become the FBI, TMZ, and Judge Judy all at once. Every reaction, every clip, every meme became digital ammunition in the internet's unofficial trial of the decade. The footage played out like a real-life movie trailer. Dramatic, grainy, impossible to look away from. Twitter, or X, if you insist on Elon's rebrand, exploded with hashtags like Trend Bortlen Footage, YNW Truth, and Free or Finished. You had hip-hop blogs posting breaking news every 5 minutes like they were competing for a Pulitzer, and YouTube commentary channels running 4-hour live streams pausing every frame like they were analyzing the Zapruder film. Academics, of course, couldn't resist. He went live immediately. "Yo, chat, we got the real footage. I ain't gonna lie, this looking bad. This man might have just hit his final boss level of L's." The comments section went nuclear. Memes flooded in. Someone edited Bortlen's footage into a Law & Order intro. Another one looped it with "Why you always lying?" playing in the background. Dark humor, savage reactions. The internet does what it does best, turns tragedy into content. But behind the screens, in the real world, the consequences were deadly serious. The consequences were deadly serious. Inside the courtroom, prosecutors arrived like soldiers who'd just been handed nuclear codes. They weren't smiling, they were grinning. One insider claimed they came armed with multiple angles of the leaked footage, matching timestamps to forensic evidence. This, the lead prosecutor allegedly said, is the moment we've been waiting for. Meanwhile, the defense looked like someone unplugged their confidence mid-trial. Bortlen sat expressionless, but his jaw tightened. The same expression that once looked like control now looked like panic dressed as calm. Court reporters described the moment the footage was referenced in session. The jury leaned forward. The gallery went silent. Even the judge took a long pause before saying, "If any further evidence leaks, this case will be delayed indefinitely." Translation: whoever leaked that clip just threw gasoline on an already burning fire. But the circus couldn't be stopped. Outside the courthouse, crowds were forming. Not protesters, fans. People showed up in YNW merch, phones out, recording TikToks in front of the courthouse sign like it was a red carpet event. One dude even brought a sign that read, "Stream murder on my mind." That's not support. That's insanity. And just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, celebrities started picking sides. Boozy, the unofficial mayor of controversial takes, hopped on Instagram Live again. "I told y'all, these young cats don't understand loyalty no more. You play with real life like it's a mixtape, and life gon' drop a diss track back." He ended the rant saying, "If that footage true, ain't no coming back from that." Kodak Black commented under a viral post, "Told y'all long time ago, something off with that story." Lil Durk posted a cryptic tweet, "Real ones know who real, the truth don't hide." Within minutes, fans turned that into conspiracy threads, linking half the rap game to the YNW fallout. Even Meek Mill jumped in, saying, "Y'all turn everything into entertainment. That man's fighting for his life, not streams." Respectable take. Until fans reminded him of his own prison reform freestyle. But here's where things took a darker turn. Rumor has it this footage wasn't leaked accidentally. Sources whispered that someone inside the legal system wanted it out. That maybe the state had been sitting on it, waiting for the perfect moment. If true, this wasn't a random leak. It was a tactical strike. That theory blew up faster than a DJ Khaled album rollout. Bloggers claimed it was strategic sabotage. One viral tweet said, "They leaked that on purpose to kill public sympathy." Others said it came from someone on the defense side who wanted to force a mistrial. Either way, someone's fingerprints are all over this chaos, and not in the good way. The pressure on Bortlen skyrocketed. His family broke their silence on Facebook, posting, "Our son is innocent. God knows the truth." Fans were divided. Some flooded the comments with hearts and prayers, others with clown emojis and L's. That's the curse of viral court cases. Empathy evaporates when the algorithm's involved. And while all this was going down, YNW Melly's name started trending again. Because of course it did. The leak reignited talk that the two cases were connected deeper than anyone admitted. "If Bortlen goes down," one journalist said, "Melly's entire defense could collapse too." The idea spread like wildfire. Was this leak the first domino in bringing the whole YNW empire down? The prosecution stayed quiet, but legal insiders said they were quietly ecstatic. Why? Because public perception matters. If the jury walks into court already thinking, Bortlen's guilty, the rest writes itself. Meanwhile, YouTube commentary channels went crazy. Channels like Traplaw Ross, 1090 Jake, and even smaller drama pages were pulling millions of views overnight. People wanted explanations. They wanted theories. They wanted answers. And you know who else wanted answers? Other rappers. The whole industry started acting like the leak was a warning. Rappers deleted old photos with Melly and Bortlen. Labels quietly cut ties with affiliates. Some even purged songs off streaming services. It's the hip-hop version of witness protection. But for brand reputation, the internet couldn't help itself though. Reaction videos kept coming. One YouTuber posted, "YNW Bortlen, the moment his fate was sealed," complete with dramatic sound effects and a thumbnail of Bortlen crying, which wasn't even real. Another fan did a parody skit acting out the courtroom scene using stuffed animals. It got 2 million views in a day, but the one thing that hit hardest wasn't the humor. It was the exhaustion. Even the fans who once screamed, "Free Bortlen," started going quiet. "This ain't looking good," one wrote. "We might have been rooting for the wrong one." Another said, "This footage feels final, like there's no turning back." Because the truth is, this wasn't just another headline. It was the end game. This footage, these reactions, this entire internet meltdown, it shifted the energy. The YNW brand, once seen as young, wild, and destined for greatness, now stood for everything wrong with fame: betrayal, violence, clout over conscience. And the irony, the same social media that built their fame is now tearing their legacy apart pixel by pixel. The courtroom became a reflection of that chaos. One reporter said, "It's like the internet broke through the courthouse doors." Fans were tweeting the judge's expressions in real time. TikTok users were predicting verdicts based on outfits. Even the jury got side-eyed like they were influencers choosing sides. But one image said it all. A viral clip showing Bortlen sitting completely still, head down, eyes locked on the table as his lawyer whispered something in his ear. No smirk, no bravado, no more "God got me," just silence, because sometimes silence is the loudest confession. This leak didn't just destroy Bortlen's defense, it destroyed his mystique. The myth of Bortlen the survivor has crumbled. Now, he's just another rapper facing a truth the internet won't let him escape. And if this really is his final chance, the footage didn't just end it, it buried it. But you know what's scarier than the footage itself? There are whispers of more. Prosecutors are reportedly holding additional clips, audio, dashcam, even forensic recreations that haven't been released yet. And if what we've seen so far was the spark, the next leak might just be the explosion. Because in this courtroom soap opera, there's no redemption arc, only receipts. By the time week 3 rolled around, you could feel the tension through the screen. YNW Bortlen's case wasn't just trending, it was haunting the internet like a ghost that refused to log off. The footage, the memes, the live updates, everything had turned into a digital manhunt where the court of public opinion was louder, meaner, and faster than any real courtroom could ever keep up with. And Bortlen, the man who once posted gym selfies and motivational quotes, was now the face of every downfall thumbnail on YouTube. His silence, once seen as confidence, now looked like guilt trapped in 4K. Every time a new clip dropped, fans didn't ask if it was real. They asked, how much worse can it get? The real answer? A lot worse, because once the footage spread far enough, the rest of the evidence followed. Phone records, GPS logs, ballistic data, all the digital breadcrumbs that prosecutors had been building for years started leaking, piece by piece. It was like the entire case got hacked by the internet gods themselves. And when those pieces got stitched together by online detectives and viral lawyers, the narrative became undeniable. Even people who once screamed, "Free Bortlen," were starting to whisper, maybe this time the receipts don't lie. One shocking detail that resurfaced was a text thread allegedly between Bortlen and another associate from that night. Screenshots showed messages that said things like, "It's handled, and we gotta stick to the story." Whether they were verified or not didn't even matter anymore, because the court of social media doesn't wait for facts, it just feeds on vibes. Meanwhile, Bortlen's legal team looked like they were hanging on by dental floss. Sources inside the courtroom said they were pushing for a mistrial, claiming media contamination and unethical leaks. But that defense felt thin, because once the footage became public, the damage was irreversible. And this wasn't just any footage, it was career-ending footage. One prosecutor said bluntly, "We don't have to convince the world anymore. The world's already convinced." Inside the courtroom, the tension was suffocating. Bortlen's expression was unreadable. That same stoic stare, cold and motionless, as if he knew the end had already been written. His team avoided eye contact with the press. The air felt heavy. Even the judge seemed weary, saying, "This trial has become something far bigger than justice. It's become entertainment." And he was right. The YNW case had officially crossed the line between reality and spectacle. People weren't tuning in for truth, they were tuning in for drama. This was courtroom theatre, and Bortlen had become the villain in a story he couldn't rewrite. Bloggers and influencers turned the trial into their content goldmine. The fall of YNW Bortlen became a trending documentary format overnight. Channels were uploading hour-long breakdowns with dramatic music, slow zooms, and fake courtroom audio overlays that somehow got more views than his actual music ever did. Meanwhile, other rappers started distancing themselves like the Titanic dodging icebergs. One Miami rapper said, "You can't be loyal to ghosts. The streets already gave the verdict." Another posted, "They was chasing fame, now fame chasing them." Even fans started deleting old tweets. Free Bortlen hashtags disappeared faster than common sense at Rolling Loud. The YNW brand, once seen as a brotherhood, now looked like a curse. Every song lyric, every photo, every interview aged into haunting irony. Melly's bars about loyalty and death started sounding less like art and more like foreshadowing. And if that wasn't enough, new leaks hinted that more footage was being prepared for the next court date. Rumors swirled that the prosecution had undisclosed digital evidence that would end all debate. In other words, if this first leak was the appetizer, the main course was about to be devastating. Reporters described the energy outside the courthouse as surreal. Fans, critics, conspiracy theorists, and vloggers all gathered like it was a movie premiere. Every new update was met with gasps, chants, and phones recording for TikTok clout. Some fans wore free YNW shirts. Others wore Justice for Juvie hoodies. Two sides, one circus. The noise outside was deafening, but the silence inside was louder. When the prosecution addressed the footage again in court, they framed it perfectly. This is not speculation. This is not social media. This is truth caught on camera. And just like that, the defense had no oxygen left. The jury stared at the screen, the same footage the world had already dissected, and even they looked stunned. Then came the cherry on top of this disaster Sunday. A forensic expert took the stand and confirmed that the audio, that faint, haunting audio that everyone debated, was real. It wasn't AI. It wasn't doctored. It matched timestamps from the phone logs. That was the breaking point. When that statement hit the internet, the collective gasp could have powered a city. Within hours, Bortlen audio confirmed was trending everywhere. Reaction channels had their thumbnails ready. They caught him. Game over! The truth is out! You could practically feel the internet celebrating the fall of a man who once thought silence would save him. Because in this era, silence doesn't protect you. It paints a target on your back. As more journalists dug deeper, the story behind the footage began to emerge. Rumor had it that someone from inside the investigation, maybe even a former insider connected to the YNW circle, had quietly released the footage after. Losing faith in the cover-up, that twist added even more fuel to the conspiracy bonfire. Fans started speculating about betrayal within the camp. One of them flipped, people said. They always do. And while the internet debated motives, one fact remained. The footage destroyed whatever slim chance Bortlen had left. Even if a miracle mistrial saved him legally, his name was already burned in the court of culture. His reputation, his music, his legacy, all ash. What once looked like ambition now looked like arrogance. What once looked like loyalty now looked like lies. The empire he and Melly built, the one meant to celebrate brotherhood and success, had turned into a crime story that even Netflix might call too dark to dramatize. And if there's one lesson the rap world learned from this saga, it's that fame doesn't save you. It just makes your downfall go viral faster. As the judge wrapped the latest session, one reporter noted how Bortlen looked up for the first time in days. He didn't speak. He didn't react. Just one long, hollow stare into the cameras, as if he finally realized what the world had been saying for weeks. The footage speaks louder than any defense ever could. And when he walked out that courtroom door, you could almost feel it. The sound of an entire career flatlining in real time. No press conference. No statement. Just silence. Because once the truth goes viral, there's nothing left to say. The footage didn't just destroy Bortlen's final chance. It destroyed the illusion that any of this could end well. And now, the YNW legacy will forever be remembered, not for its music, but for its madness. And just like that, another rap empire collapses under the weight of its own secrets. YNW Bortlen's story didn't end with a mic drop. It ended with a data drop. One leak, one clip, one ugly truth that turned fans into jurors and rappers into philosophers overnight. The footage didn't just destroy his final chance. It exposed how fame, money, and ego can build a kingdom on lies and burn it down with one click. This is the price of playing gangster in the age of 4K evidence. You can delete posts, scrub captions, block the blogs, but the internet never forgets. It archives everything, even your downfall. So before you log off thinking this story's done, remember this. Every silence, every rumor, every no comment is just the calm before the next scandal. Because in hip-hop, the cameras don't turn off when the song stops, they zoom in. Now, if you've been watching this chaos unfold like it's your favorite drama series, you already know what to do. Smash that like button like you're trying to wipe your name off a witness list. Subscribe before the next leak drops. And hit that bell so you don't miss the next digital disaster. Drop your thoughts below. Is Bortlen a victim of betrayal, or did karma just collect its debt? Either way, the truth's out, and the game will never be the same, because this isn't gossip. It's the rap truth. It's the rap truth.